You're listening to the Prepper Recon podcast. For questions, comments, and podcast archives, go to prepperrecon.com.
Are you a pastor who doesn't feel led to address politics in your church? Do shivers of fear run up your spineless back every time you consider teaching about liberty or the Constitution? Don't fret, you're not alone. In fact, most American pastors are just like you. But you do need to prepare for a period of adjustments in the near future. Soon, thanks to your dereliction of duty, freedom of religion will be gone and the church doors will be chained shut, leaving your sorry tail out of a job. That's why we've started the Prepper Recon Vocational School for Pastors. We'll train you to thrive in the post-church world of tomorrow in jobs like air duct installation. Having no backbone makes you a top candidate for moving around in tight spaces. Shoe shining is another option. Many bootlicking preachers find the transition remarkably fluid. Don't wait until the padlock is already on the door of your 501c3 house of worship. Call now and enroll today.
I've personally been buying gold and silver from JM Bullion for over 2 years. They offer the best prices over spot that I can find, and I've never had a problem with an order. If you're looking to trade in some of your fiat paper for real money, check out jmbullion.com today. Hey, Brothers and Patriots. This is the second half of my guest appearance on Ladies of the Watch. Enjoy the show.
I got another question. Is there any gold left in the United States? Is Fort Knox empty?
We don't know. There's not been really an audit of it.
I agree.
Germany, we've got all of these other banks that have agreed to let America hold their gold. And now they want it back, and this has been over, the past few years. Germany's wanted their gold back, and they couldn't get it, or they were told it was going to take, 6 or 7 years to get a couple of tons of gold shipped back, and so we don't know. There's some gold somewhere because the U.S. Mint is still selling gold buffaloes, and they're still selling gold American Eagles. But we don't know if all the gold that's supposed to be there is there.
Right. Who wants to take a bet? Who wants to take a wild guess if that would be a yes or a no?
I'm guessing no, because we risked a relationship with a very staunch ally in Germany by telling them it was going to take them 6 years to get their gold back.
Right.
And then, of course, when Ukraine fell, we were kind enough to go extract their gold for them and keep it safe until they could get all their political turmoil fixed.
Oh, wasn't that sweet of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see a future where the government's going to ask for a bail-in, where they seize savings accounts and whatnot to balance not save? It's a bad term to use, balance their budget. But do you see the government using the banks for a bail-in as opposed to a bailout?
It's on the books. The laws are on the books to be able to do that. And I think that it's the thing. I think it's
2015.
It's what?
As of January 2015, your savings accounts are no longer considered a savings account. They changed the verbiage, and what they did is they basically made you a creditor of the bank. That way, if the bank defaults, you must stand in line with all the other creditors that they owe money to for them to pay you back.
And you're an unsecured.
Which won't be anything, though.
And you're an unsecured creditor. Well, they're all backed.
Which means you're at the back of the line.
They're all backed by the FDIC, which has something like 0.25% of the money that they're insuring they actually have in a fund somewhere to pay somebody out. And of course, the FDIC is backed by the Fed, which can just fire up the printing press. But once again, now we're looking at a currency that becomes utterly worthless. It's like this Zimbabwe note that I'm looking at. You can just keep putting more and more zeros on that piece of paper, and at some point it stops meaning anything, and people quit taking it, and they just don't want it anymore. So as long as they can keep, as long as people will keep taking paper, and as long as people will keep accepting or a digital transaction, and they'll keep accepting something, this mystical unicorn called the U.S. dollar that has nothing back in it other than maybe a nuclear fleet, to where, if you don't want to take the dollar, bad things happen to you. That's Saddam decided he was going to sell oil and gold, and he didn't live very long after that. And Gaddafi thought he was going to try to do the same thing, and it turned out to be not so great for his health either. So as long as people keep taking the dollar, then they can keep that gig going. So it's hard to say. It's went on longer than I ever expected it to.
Well.
And we've got a population that would happily melt down the silverware in their drawer and go out and make pots that won't hold water. So it's not, if it doesn't keep working, it won't be for a lack of a stupid populace.
That's because they've been trained this way. I mean, all the stuff that you see on Hillary and on the news, it's not even hidden anymore, and there's nobody complaining about it.
Oh, they're zombies.
Our side. I think that's what they were doing, is teaching it in schools. My son brought home a paper last year that there was a test that they had to take. It was like a true or false, and it said things like, the government is in charge of the people, and the people must do everything the government says, because you can trust the government, and they do what's right for the people. And I raised my son, to be a free thinker, and he put, no, this isn't true. The people are in charge of the government. Go to the Constitution, go to the Bill of Rights, and he got it wrong. And about it, he said, I tried to get a copy of it, Mom, to take home, but it was on the computer. And so I went down and said, my son was telling me about this test he was taking, and I'd like to see it. I'd like to see his results. And they said, oh, we can't. They're random tests. Nobody knows which kid got which test, and you can't pull up results. Test value as far as points and things. And that made me angry. I just about pulled my kid out of that school.
So what was the point of giving the test?
Huh?
So what was the point of giving the test?
The school was giving the test.
It's indoctrination over education.
Absolutely. And it's getting more and more prevalent.
One of the points of giving the test, guys, is because what they have been doing for the last 2 generations of our public school system is indoctrinating children to learn how to by rote, not by memory. So they put them in this mindset that you just go ahead and regurgitate what you were told, write it exactly as you're told, and as long as you comply, you will excel. So they've basically created the next socialism. I mean, Hitler himself was the one that said, I don't need you. I just need your children.
Yeah.
And this is what has happened in public school.
Yep.
And that's what Mao did after, and the second phase of his revolution, after all these people starved because he told them to melt their silverware down and instead of farming, he blamed it all on the everybody else in the government, and told the children to stand up and rebel against the government, which he was the head of the government, and he said, I'm the only good guy, everybody else is bad, beat up your landlords and take to the streets and start burning stuff down. And that's what they did. And he came out smelling like a rose on the other side of it. And it's just complete insanity. And America's on exactly the same track. And we've got no more common sense than those people. We've got no more common sense than the people that put Chavez in or Hitler or anybody else. And we're going on the same path, and we gotta start, and it's time to start making some preparations. Like we said, that last foot of that 100-foot drop is the one that's going to get you. And that's what you got to brace for. And for folks that you got to start with a budget. You don't start by going out and maxing out your credit card, because if this is a financial crisis, which I suspect it will be, because we're so far long overdue. And like we said, we're very, very limited, tools, for what the government can do to pull us out of the next nosedive. So folks have got to get on a budget. Dave Ramsey's he's got a really good budgeting tool on his site, and it's free, and you just go in and you just fill in all of the categories for your monthly expenditures, and then, what you've got coming in, and it helps you to just look at that stuff, because most Americans, they don't do that. They're just, I get a check and I spend it, and they really don't know what's left over after taxes, and they don't really know what they're spending it on. They just know that somehow it all works out. Well, someday it's not going to all work out. And so you got to get a hold of that stuff now and start living on less than you make. And the Chinese, as little as they make, and it's something, a couple $100 a month, and they save 30% of their income, which just comes from just, being disciplined and really making a priority out of savings, because they don't have Social Security. They don't have any type of a social net. And most people are going to come to find out that we're not going to have Social Security either, because, they may pay you out everything that they told you they'll pay you out. But by the time they've printed up enough money to give you that payout, it's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on. So, you got to start taking your finances into your own hands. And I think that the best way to do that is a budget. And then once you get on that budget, start building up a 6-month emergency fund. Because, if you've got 6 months in emergency fund, then if you're injured, or you have a job loss, or, God forbid there's a pandemic, and nobody can leave their house for 6 months, you've got a little time to think, to get stuff figured out, to where, you don't go straight into crisis mode the second that happens, because you've been living hand to mouth. And if you don't get next week's paycheck, you're financially ruined. So if you've got that 6 months,
Right.
and you can take some time to breathe and think about that, and think about what your next move's going to be, that's very, very valuable. And plus, if you've got that 6 months emergency fund, that can go a long way to, if you have the alternator goes out in your car, you don't have to get out the credit card for that. You've got an emergency fund for that. So now you're not paying, 12-15% interest to a credit card company when you're getting nothing in the bank. You've got your own emergency fund. You can take care of that yourself. And now this 6 months emergency fund, this is to be kept liquid. So this isn't something that you're using, that you're investing. You're not buying gold and silver with this. This is just liquid cash. You're getting ready to say something,
Can
Julie?
I say something right now that's
Yes.
going to be really, really unpopular, but it's a blunt truth? If you really want to prepare, my recommendation is you cut up the credit cards.
Oh, that's not unpopular. I haven't had a credit card in 30 years.
But see, you're pragmatic, Julie. 90% of the population, when they were questioned, there was multiple surveys they've done. I do one online right now just for kicks and giggles. I'm bored. 75% of those who were surveyed said they would rather give up their cable, rather give up their cell phone, rather give up their personal transportation than give up their credit cards.
Huh.
Wow.
I cannot even fathom that. I've tried to teach my kids you don't use credit or credit cards, because when I was 18, I think I had a $200 credit card, racked it up to $400 and paid $800 back. And I saw the writing on the wall with that. And
Well, we've
You
been
got off
conditioned
cheap.
since the 70s that we need to be in debt.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you got off cheap, Julie.
And,
What's the first thing? Yeah,
I
What's
did?
the first thing that happens
Yeah.
when you're 18? What's the very first thing that happens when you're
I think it was
18? Not only do you
deep
get your birthday present and the right to smoke and the right to vote, you start getting inundated with, hey, I've got $5,000 waiting for you right now on this credit card. Just sign and seal.
Sure. Well, and my son, I told him get one of those loaded credit cards because, what you put into it's what you spend, and you can use it everywhere like a credit card, but then you're not going over your budget. But he still wants one, so.
Yeah, you need to get really, really disciplined with debt. You need to have an emergency fund and all that kind of thing before you even think about getting a credit card. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Katie Armor offers affordable body armor, including level 3 trauma plates made of AR-500 steel. They can endure multiple rounds from pistols and rifles up to 7.62 NATO. Order today from katiearmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Ready Made Resources is a trusted name in the prepper community because they've been around for 18 years. They offer great prices on night vision, water filtration, long-term storage food, solar energy components, and provide free technical service. Get ready for an uncertain future at ReadyMadeResources.com.
After a massive wave of disappearances, 26-year-old CIA analyst Everett Carroll finally believes what he's been told about the biblical prophecy of the rapture. Global currencies have collapsed, famine and plague have claimed the lives of millions, and the world has crumbled into chaos. 7 seals, 7 trumpets, and 7 vials of God's wrath are about to be poured out upon the earth, and woe to the inhabitants thereof. Buy your copy of The Days of Elijah, Book 1, Apocalypse, by best-selling author Mark Goodwin, in paperback or Kindle edition from Amazon.com today.
Why not silver?
I love silver. I love gold. But this is so far down the list. And then also for your listeners, on prepperrecon.com, at the very top of the page, right under the menu bar, I've got a banner. It says free 7-step survival plan. And this is for the folks that are just waking up and they're paralyzed by fear. They don't know where to start, and it breaks it all down, and it gives you a list of things to do in a priority fashion so that you can do step 1, step 2, step 3, and you're not going to do the wrong things at the wrong time, because one of the first things people want to do is go out and buy gold and silver. Gold and silver are great. People that had gold and silver in the 30s when the Weimar Republic crashed in Germany, if you had an ounce of gold, you could buy an entire city block of real estate in downtown Berlin. So I mean, it's a great thing for wealth preservation, but you can't eat it. You can't defend yourself with it. You can't grow crops with it. You need to get all that other stuff out of the way before you start thinking about long-term wealth preservation. And that's what gold and silver is for. But you should have all those other basic steps taken care of before that, and you shouldn't have your 6-month emergency fund tied up in the gold and silver.
That's where my questions come in, is your 6 months emergency fund, because it's harder to spend gold and silver. You have to go find a place that will take it, and then you have to get your value out of it. So it's a little bit trickier to do it than just fluid cash.
Yeah, it is, but you're just gonna have to be disciplined. You're just gonna have to decide that you want to survive, and you don't want to be one of the people chasing down a food supply truck for a $20 bag of rice like the people in Venezuela, or they're eating zoo animals right now in Venezuela. So you want to decide that you don't like kangaroo meat, and you're going to not spend that money. You don't want to eat a panda bear. You don't want to have to tell your 3-year-old, yes, honey, I know panda bears are cute, but you just pretend it's chicken, So don't spend the money. So you just got to take it and not spend it. You just got to, and you got to start getting disciplined. And if you can't get that discipline to not do that, then, it's like the credit card. You're going to find a way. So keep that liquid, and some of it you need to be able to keep it in your house. So you probably need a safe, and that safe should probably be bolted to the floor. And now, somebody can come in, put a gun to your head and say, open that safe. And absolutely, that's exactly what you're going to do is open it up. So you don't want to keep it all there. So now you got to keep some of it in these at-risk banks that, you could wake up tomorrow morning and they could say the bank's closed. But, you got to diversify your risk.
You also have co-ops you can use though, right?
Yeah.
You also have co-ops you can use instead, right?
Yeah, you can. And, credit unions they're not part of the FDIC system. So, maybe they'll be a little safer. Who knows? But and then, if you want, you can get some PVC pipe and some red hot blue glue and some end caps, and you can make a little cash and bury it in your backyard. And now you've got, as long as it's bills, and it's watertight and it's plastic, nobody can pick that up with the metal detector. So, maybe you got a little bit in the safe, a little bit in the ground, a little bit in the bank, and you got that 6 month all split up into 2 month, increments, and split up into 3 different places. So, if something happens to one batch of it, you still got the other 4 months.
That's a really good idea. I mean, we all have heard about, the 6 months and the other, but I hadn't thought about, I just don't put anything in the bank.
Yeah. A lot of people don't trust it. Yeah.
But,
and then,
that's a good point.
And then once you get your budget, start looking at the ways in that budget that you can make some big, serious cuts. When we got our free Obamacare, our premium went from $85 a piece up to, for the both of us, it was $780, $790. It was real close to $800 from $85 a piece. And then Obamacare came in, and for the same just catastrophic coverage that we had, the exact same coverage under Obamacare, was now $800. So we got out of that. We found a loophole. It's called MediShare. It's a Christian organization, and you have to not drink, not smoke, and you got to live a godly lifestyle for them to accept you. But now that we're on that, we're back down to, for the both of us, it's right at $200 a month. So that's $600 a month for the same catastrophic care coverage, and we're paying $600 less. So that was a big cut.
Well, another thing you can do.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is that you now have a growing trend across the nation. We have 2 doctors in our area that do not take insurance.
They just take cash.
Cash or barter.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yep.
So,
that's over here,
find
too.
one of them.
Yep. And, think about cutting your cable. You pretty much have to have internet these days. But if you got internet, you can get a Roku box. It's $100 to buy it, and you can get all of the networks on there and most of the other channels. There's plenty of junk on there to still watch without paying for cable. And
but do you get the Seahawks?
You can't get the Seahawks. I don't know.
I can't do it then.
I don't know if you can get the Seahawks. You probably can. There's probably a way to get it.
If I can get Seahawks and NASCAR, my husband would have no problem starting with cable. But as far as we're concerned in this house, we can have electricity turned off before he loses his game.
Now, you could probably when you get Roku, everything, you pay $100 one time for the box, and then everything's free. But there are premium things that you can add on there, and you just pay for what you add on. So you might be able to just pay for just a ROKU. And it works off your router, and then we've got a box on both TVs, and then we pick what we want to watch, and it's all on demand. So also you don't have to watch whatever happens to be playing. You just go in and you pick what you want to watch, and you play it on demand.
That's what I got.
Hey,
but mine's called,
you get HBO with that.
Mine's called a Cody box. Same principle.
Yeah.
And it runs right off the router. It's phenomenal. You don't need cable anymore.
Yep.
So I can get my Game of Thrones still too, right?
You can get HBO. You have to pay. You got to pay a a premium for HBO, but it's not like a whole cable package. You know, you just pay for the HBO.
Huh. Okay, I'm on the website right now, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Some things, though, they do say you have to have a cable subscription required, like NBC. I don't know why anybody would want to watch NBC, but if that happens to be your thing, sorry.
There's two levels of NBC. You can get the live streaming of NBC, and then you can also get the free Roku version. Now, if you've got we watch the America's Got Talent because it's one of the few things that's you know, where there's actually some American exceptionalism in there from time to time. There's a lot of idiots on there as well, but once in a while you see some folks with real talent on there. And now, if you've got a regular cable subscription and you get the Roku, then you watch anything you want when it comes on. If you've just got the budget Roku, you have to like wait a week until they unlock it, which we don't mind doing.
Right.
Because, you know, now that's just our new show, you know. So and then next week we'll have the next one. So, you know, we waited a week for it. And CBS, Fox, they all do basically the same thing with that. And another great way.
And I will be doing a blast on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Another great way to save money. Zycon Fresh is basically a online butcher shop, and really great chicken, extra lean ground beef, like 93.7 ground beef. My wife just went and picked up shrimp from there today, and it's all like super cheap, cheaper than you're going to get from anywhere else, and it's very, very high quality meats. The only drawback is you got to buy a case, and you pay for it ahead of time, and then when the truck comes, you just go pick it up.
We're preppers.
And so, you know, and so what we do is we'll get the beef and we'll freeze half of it, and then the other half we'll take and we'll make meatballs and we'll can meatballs because the only thing we really can is meat because it's pretty much cheaper to buy already canned vegetables than it is to buy the vegetables and can them. And our garden is not big enough to produce enough excess to be canning vegetables right now. So meat's one of the few things we can, and so that's what we'll do. We'll can the chicken. Canned chicken's not as great as like fresh chicken, but it's good in like chicken salad or like chicken soup, or in the apocalypse, it tastes a lot better than Panda Bear that you had to go shoot from the zoo.
You know what's really kind of funny about the whole Venezuela thing that I have been able to figure out?
What's that?
Venezuela is where I learned how to eat insects.
Wow.
It's where one of the main proteins that, like, all the rage there 10 years ago was your grasshoppers and your spiders and your, you know, I mean, and literally they just come out of the jungle by the caseload. So when I'm hearing all these people starving, I'm trying to figure out, you know, was it because they became so used to processed food they stopped dealing with the indigenous stuff that was there?
Yeah, maybe.
Are they teaching them that, you know, I know there was a lot of stuff on bushmeat and how you couldn't eat out of the jungles because we were wiping out the wildlife. And that was 5 or 6 years ago. They wouldn't let them eat monkey or anything, and I wonder if that's just if that's something that has been, you know, that we don't hear about here. Like they say, don't go eat stuff out of the jungle anymore.
Yeah, in Venezuela they're eating endangered white tigers right now because that's all there is.
Yep. They're starting to eye each other, you know, neighborly like to find out which one's the fattest of the group. And trust me, everybody went on a diet. Trust me, everybody's getting thin.
Wow.
Because they know.
Yeah. You and your barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
You always have to have a way to work it in.
I didn't say it this time. You said it. I'm so grateful.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and another.
And we've talked about this before, the budget stuff. You know, the dollar stores and things. That you can do. Pretty much what you guys have just talked about. We don't have cable TV. We don't have TV at all. We
good for you.
Raise most of our own meat. Our garden did not do good this year. And I don't know why. It usually does really, really good, but this year couldn't get any growth at all. And that was a big concern because we know we're going to have to live off of it eventually. And,
you know what's interesting, Julie, is that I'm hearing from across the nation that a lot of people's gardens did not do well.
right. And there was that one guy that posted he planted all his new garden, and the next day they had done chemtrails or something, and then everything was black.
No, please.
And I think about that, too. I'm trying not to get on the really super hysterical bandwagon when it comes to that stuff. But sometimes you can't help but make comparisons, you know? And
Yeah,
we have all these earthquakes. I mean, the one in Oklahoma today. And, oh, that reminds me, everybody, I'd like them, if you are following earthquakes, and if you're in the Midwest, Oklahoma's supposed to have another one, and it's supposed to go over to the East Coast. And I watched Dutch Since on YouTube, and it's worth a look because he's projecting earthquakes all this week. And these are things that you might want to prepare for. But
And you got 3 counties that are under emergency. Oh, what the hell is it called? They're under emergency watch now.
right.
So you also heard Yellowstone was evacuated twice, right?
Right. And he said there was a 3-point something up there. And that affects us because we're on this coast. And if that blows, the volcanic activity there is we're gonna be directly.
If that blows, the Ring of Fire goes. We might as well just go ahead and watch as it burns. We're done.
Absolutely. So.
It'll make your life interesting, Julie. That's for sure.
Well.
Oh, she's up in the mountains. She gets to
it.
watch the rest of us go ahead and do a hot scotch.
Well, I was going to say, I'm in the mountains, so I probably won't get the worst of it. But
Yeah, she's going to be sitting up there in her lawn chair with her binoculars saying, oh, Dawn, jump the other way. Oh, that was lava. Too bad.
at least you should be running this way.
And one more quick tip on saving money is coupons. The coupons aren't quite what they used to be, but you can still really, really clean up. My wife does the coupon corner at prepperrecon.com, and that's up at the top of the menu bar there. You can click that. And she's got all these different sites that will basically, people, they don't want to do coupons because it's like so time consuming. You got to figure out all these deals and figure out where's the sale and where's the coupon and all of this and line all this stuff up. She's got all these different sites on there that do that for you. For almost any grocery store that you go to or any drugstore that you go to, there's a site that monitors all their sales and monitors coupons and lines up all the deals for you, so that you can be a brain dead zombie that thinks it's okay to melt down your silverware and still figure this out. And
Crazy coupon lady.
Yeah, that's one of them. Southern.
I'm an extreme couponer.
Southern Savers. That's another one. Anything, whatever your grocery store is, let's say, if your region, if it's Kroger, then there's a website called I Heart Kroger. If the grocery store in your region is Winn-Dixie, there's an I Heart Winn-Dixie. If it's Publix, there's a website called I Heart Publix. Whatever it is, and whatever your grocery store, whatever your drugstore is too. If you've got CVS in your area, there's an I Heart CVS. If Rite Aid is your drugstore, there's I Heart Rite Aid. I think Walgreens, I don't think it's I Heart Walgreens. I think it's I Heart Wags or something like that. But there's one for that. I'm just saying that there's these multiple websites that line up all the deals. They tell you what the sale is going to be next week, so you'll know whether you need to go buy the paper this week, and you might need to buy 3 papers because maybe there's so many deals in there and you're going to stock up so much stuff that it's going to be worth it. So that's another great way. Another great way is
quick, 2 things to say.
Yeah.
When it comes to couponing, real quick, Prepper.
Yes.
If you know that there's going to be a good sale coming up and you have it already figured out, what I do is I call ahead and I say, I want 4 cases of your Propel grape. They will pre-order it. They will have it pre-packaged and waiting for you so that when you go in, you can go ahead and buy the bulk versus trying to beat everybody else out there who just saw the fact that it just went on sale for 50 cents a pop.
Oh, that's
fantastic.
The second thing you can do is every store goes on a cycle. Their sales are on cycles. Find out what those cycles are. If you can go and if you talk to the cashiers, and they'll pretty much tell you, yeah, you know what? Every Thursday, because we want to get rid of all of the excess cookies for the next load because the shipments are coming in. We'll put them on sale. Find out what you use. Find out the cycle. Prepare for that. Set aside some money for that. I have gone in and literally walked out. My biggest haul yet was $500 worth of coupon of groceries. I paid $3.47.
How you guys do that?
Fantastic.
I can't do that here.
Secret. Real quick, what the secret is, okay, Propel goes on sale every Friday, I think it is, at Fred Meyer. No, wait. I have to check my book. Let's just say Friday, keep it going. It goes down to 85 cents. The week before, Propel normally sends out its flyers for anybody who's interested. There's a 50-cent coupon. You're now down to 35 cents. If you're lucky and you can find another manufacturer coupon that has a different barcode, or, such as Fred Meyer does and Winco does, takes competitor coupons, Safeway will often have a 50-cent coupon. I'm now saving $1. What is that? It's now 85 cents. I'm now actually putting back in my pocket 25 cents, roughly 15, 25 cents, whatever. That can go to another purchase.
Yeah,
right?
Moneymaker.
Right. Now, if you do not use the item, everybody's seen extreme couponing. You get these people, I don't even have a cat. I got 10 years with the cat food. Good for you. Guess what? She should have been smart, donated all that cat food to a shelter, and taken the tax deduction.
Very smart. Ladies, it's been such an honor to be on the show. I am going to have to run. But before I go, I do want to remind everybody they can go over to PrepperRecon.com, get the free 7-step survival plan. It's great. If you're just starting out, it's great to help you get prioritized. I talk a lot in there about prepping on a budget. If you've been prepping for eons, it goes through all of the different areas of preparedness that a lot of people will skip over because they get pigeonholed into one specific area or a couple specific areas, and they miss some other important area of preparedness. So folks can go over there. Like I said, it's free, and I really appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Get prepared before disaster strikes. PrepperRecon.com offers MOLLE-compatible individual first aid kits for your home, auto, or bug-out bag. These kits have everything you need to address a traumatic injury, including an Israeli battle dressing, quick clot, EMT shears, suture kit, steri-strips, tourniquet, tough strip bandages, and so much more. Kits are available in OD Green, Coyote, Black, and ACU. $99 includes shipping. Go to PrepperRecon.com and click the Store tab at the top of the home page. Order today before it's too late.